It's enough, I think. It's enough, I think.
I have already acknowledged that a lot of support is coming to us because of Kamala Harris's refusal to consider an arms embargo.
So it's actually relatively simple and straightforward, okay? Imagine being in a position where all you have to do in order to win election is to stop committing the most heinous, hold on, let me finish, Mehdi. Stop committing the most heinous genocide in recent memory. A decimation, literally 1/10 of the population murdered in 11 months. And all you have to do in order to meet the American people is to stop that genocide. This question, in point of fact, is not for us. This question is for Kamala Harris. How deeply does your soul have to be folded in the pockets of AIPAC and the war machine that you are willing to lose this election, because they have already lost this election if they continue with this
respect,
stance.
I do a lot of these.
I have already acknowledged that.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, welcome to the Green live stream. We thought we would open with Jill because, you know, the Dems are still out there ignoring the genocide still happening.
Well, I thought it was great because, you know, Kamala's on her book tour. So, I mean, it's perfect to open that with that. Yeah. And,
yeah, we might do a segment about that next week, you know. But there's bigger news going on. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm Edie. This is Scott.
Hey, everybody. Hey.
I guess if you tune in a lot, you already knew that.
And welcome our first-time viewers.
Welcome. Yeah. And people that are watching it later as well.
Yeah.
So that's a call to action. And there's the action. It may be too late. Let's see, 9/28. That is tomorrow.
Yeah,
maybe it's not.
It's not too late.
So take action to demand that NUHW include butchwear in their governor's forum. This is the National Union for Healthcare Workers.
See, isn't that something? National Union. I think we're going to talk about that a lot today. Unions, how they're failing us. Because of union leadership that's been taken over. And now I can't speak specifically to this union leadership, but it's just another example. My God, a union is not going to have Butch Ware, the governor candidate, on the stage just because he's running in the Green Party. That's got to be the assumption. They got all the Democrats there, right?
Yep. So you got to look at it and say, why not?
Right.
You know, why wouldn't they?
Right.
So they don't believe in democracy. That tells you a lot about who they are.
And just like Politico did not let Butch Ware on the stage.
Yeah.
So.
And I think it's because they know that he can, you know.
He would whip them, yeah. Absolutely. He's brilliant.
He would make them look as foolish as they are. He would, because what they do, I've watched these things. It's like, we're working on, we're proposing, we're in favor of, Not we put it up for a vote. We wrote the legislation and, you know, made sure it happens. You know, we got everybody in line to make sure that got passed. None of that happened.
And help me with the name of the person running from the Democrats. Clinton. She was a school teacher. She's pretty well known in the Democratic Party. Somebody can help me by putting it in the comments. She has voted for the genocide. And so, you know, and Butch had said he will expose that in any, you know, debate or forum that they have. I hate that I can't remember her name.
Yeah. Well, that's the point. And, you know, the no kings and the hands off and all that. Do you ever see a Palestinian flag there? Do you ever see a sign about the genocide there? Because they didn't learn their lesson from 2024. When they lost to Trump. Sorry, your fault, Democrats, not mine. I had nothing to do with it. You knew what we wanted. You didn't do it. And here we are. Yeah. So everything that's going on, you got to lay it at their feet. You know, you can't blame the people that are trying to do something better, to be better than they are. You can't blame them. You have to blame the Democrats for not being a good party.
Absolutely.
You know. Yeah, so we do have a lot to go through. We have Mr. Matt Ho I'm gonna check this out. I think we have a trailer. So he's in a documentary called Bodyguard of Lies. And he says,
And he was
as has
on
been said, the truth is the first casualty of war.
He was on our show a couple months ago.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was great. Great interview with Matt.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
We know the history of military conflict in Afghanistan. Hurry up. Long years of floundering and ultimate failure. We're not going to repeat that mistake.
2002, Donald Rumsfeld dictates out a memo saying, how are we going to get out of Afghanistan? And he ends it with one word, help, exclamation point. Completely at odds with what the public had been told.
Privately, people were saying this war was a total disaster. This is off the record. But we offered anonymity to people who couldn't speak the truth publicly.
We were never going to succeed.
This isn't going to work.
The White House says we're winning the war, but in these interviews, it's clear we're not winning.
We are winning this war.
What bull?
Officials were under pressure to report only good news.
This goal
There he is.
is achievable.
But people knew the war could not be won.
Every measurable activity is failing.
We're spending $300 million a day for 20 years.
25% is being stolen, and it's ending up in the hands of the insurgents. Corruption, bribery, steal. And the embassy said, oh, don't go down that road. Don't go down that road? How about fixing the problem?
There was this exaggeration after exaggeration of what we accomplished, and it went all the way up to the president. We have liberated village after village.
We broke the Taliban's momentum.
We are winning
Responsibly, deliberately, and safely. They're lying to you.
They didn't care about what the reality of this war was. They cared about whether or not their narrative was going to be upset by somebody speaking to the press.
Sometimes the truth is so precious it must be accompanied by a bodyguard of lies.
Wow.
I don't want to be quoted on this.
Wow. If that doesn't send a chill down your back.
That is fantastic. I'd never
Oh
seen
my
that.
God.
Accompanied
not
by a
ever seen that.
bodyguard of lies. Wow. Wow.
That was Donald Rumsfeld, y'all.
and
If
you know,
remember back in the early days there.
I hope that people are getting to see the pattern. Like every single war, the lies that are being put out, the massive propaganda campaign about Ukraine not telling the truth about what actually happened there, the right-wing coup, you know, that we instigated, or certainly funded and propelled. So it's just, you know, it's lies, you know, and there is the propaganda coming out, you know, how Ukraine is, you know, winning and destroying Russia and all this crap. And I just saw a pic. I should have shared it. They've extended the, I mean, this is depressing to talk about. I'm not trying to make fun of Ukraine and all. It's not, you know, it's, the whole thing is horrible. But there's a picture where now they've extended the age eligibility or requirement, I don't know, for military service in Ukraine to like 70 or something. And they had a picture of all these guys in there. You could see they're in their 60s lining up. I mean, and they tried to get the 18-year-olds. I don't know if that went through, but I mean, they're running out of guys. They're running out of people. And it's sick. It's sick.
Well, they're not allowing people to volunteer. It's forced.
They're kidnapping. There are kidnapping. Some people do volunteer.
They're kidnapping people off the street.
Yeah.
And not giving them a choice. And didn't you say before that the life expectancy is like 2 days?
Yeah, on the front lines. Yeah,
on the front lines.
It's brutal.
So they're just sacrificing their people. And why are they sacrificing their people? For NATO.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know, it is, NATO has become a weapons dealer. You know, that's what it's for, to make us money on selling weapons to other countries, forcing countries to do this. But if I want to back up to, you know, that documentary, I can't wait till it comes out. I don't know if y'all can find the date when it comes out, but I'm super excited. That ought to be very interesting. And our own Matt Ho is in the documentary.
That's so cool.
But if you know, things are coming out more and more. Jeffrey Sachs recently said, Israel's got a hit list, and they have pressured us and infiltrated and convinced and cajoled our government into going out and attacking other countries for them. Afghanistan was on that list. Iraq was on that list. Iran is on that list. Libya, Syria. And that's,
Ukraine.
It won't stop there. It will not stop there. They've already put that out there.
Ukraine has a hit list also, by the way, folks, because journalists have talked about being on it. I don't know if it was Max Blumenthal or Aaron Mate. I can't remember. One or both was on a Ukraine hit list also.
For journalists. But I'm saying, big picture, Israel has a list of 7 countries that they wanted the United States to attack for them, so they can make it their own. Yeah. Jeffrey, if you watch us regularly, you know that we talked about this before. But yeah. However, some people are starting to fight back. Hazel, you want to do the TikTok?
The entirety of Italy is shut down. Workers from across sectors have just walked out. Pro-Palestinian grassroots unions launched a massive nationwide strike at midnight in support of Gaza, bringing the entire country to a standstill. There is so much power to the people. The people cause this. The people raise awareness. And the people have the ability to stop everything. And that is what the people will do. Free Palestine.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I think the important aspect of that is the union involvement. I think that's what really did it, because all transportation was shut down, all of it. And that takes unions. And our unions are not there. They are not progressive enough and strong enough to be making actions like that. I've never heard a union be talking about shutting down for Gaza.
However, if it's across the board, like the teachers did, what was it in West Virginia, I think, they could do a wildcat strike and they won. So you don't have to, if you organize it well within the membership, it can still happen. And, I know this is later in the show. I guess I should have put it here. But talking about, the thing that happened with the Jimmy Kimmel. Okay. Where is that? When workers unite, even Disney has to listen. So that's a SharePost article by Max Kreidler from Capitol in Maine. So they were super upset that Jimmy Kimmel was let go. And Americans decided they're canceling Hulu and they're canceling their Disney vacations. And it took 1 week for that to affect them, and they caved. So we flexed our muscle. We have that strength here. We just have to care about it enough.
Yeah, I'm going to push back a little, say liberals flex their muscle on things that liberals care about.
They are also American.
Yes, but they care more about Jimmy Kimmel TV show than they care about genocide. That's just the reality.
Yeah.
I have not seen a groundswell of Democratic supporters calling for any kind of shutdown BDS. They are not the champions of BDS, like you said.
Because they don't make the connection between Jimmy Kimmel's free speech, ICE in the streets, Trump, and Gaza. They haven't made that connection. And the Democrats, enabling all of this shit to happen. Once they make that connection, that's I feel like that's my job. That's why I tend to go to those No Kings and Hands Off protests, because I show up being green and I'm putting the questions to the people that attend, because they don't understand. They just don't like Trump. Putting the question to them and making them think beyond what just yelling at this, the traffic. You have to think, well, we're not flexing our power. We're not using the power of the people. And they just had an instance where they saw that it worked. So it's teaching them that if they do that, it will work.
Yeah. Except all of the Democratic supporting folks that I know have never posted once on Palestine.
Right.
They
So
shared
we have
like
to challenge.
crazy. Well, okay, but we've been challenging for a long time.
Mhm.
I think, like I said, I think we would have more success if we could get union leaders. I mean, I think the reason the general strike was successful in Italy is the unions shutting down transportation. That's where the rich felt it. That's where the rich felt it. And
Yeah.
yes, BDS has certainly been successful at Starbucks. I mean, they've closed, they just this week, they closed a whole bunch of stores, a lot of
Yeah.
stores across the country.
Did they? Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Good. See?
Yep.
So I think both things are a tactic. Like we got to keep trying because that's who
Yeah.
we are. You know, that's a big voting bloc. That's a large portion of the population. They have to make that connection at some point. I'm hoping they're starting to get it. I mean, all I'm saying is like they flexed their power, it worked. Now we just
Yeah.
got to get them to flex their power for something more, you know, I wouldn't say more important.
Yeah, it is. Genocide over a Jimmy Kimmel
Freedom
show,
of speech is
absolutely
important.
more important.
Freedom of speech is important. It
Right,
is
but
foundational.
right. Except they were screaming about Jimmy Kimmel. They weren't screaming out about free speech. They do cancel culture. They are not free speech advocates. No, sorry.
Yeah.
I know I'm just, you know, I'm at odds with liberals completely 100%. I really am.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, you'd think people would care about genocide. You'd think, or you'd think that people would be, and I think this is more the issue, be brave enough to speak out. I think they probably care. I think they're good people. They have good intentions, good hearts. They're not brave enough. They're not brave enough to stand up. That's the issue. Jimmy Kimmel, easy.
And
That's
what is courage? The definition of courage is being afraid and doing it anyway.
Oh,
And standing
okay.
up anyway.
Good. I hadn't heard that one. That's great.
Oh, absolutely. Of course. Of course, there are
No,
times when, you know, I get a little like, oh, I'm going to do this thing. But guess what?
No, good point.
My heart demands that I get my butt out there and stand on the side of the street or confront someone or do something that I might be a little uncomfortable doing because it's that important to me. And it, you know, I'm hoping that people will start seeing that that's how we win. That's how we beat Trump. That's how we get ICE out of our streets. I mean, look what Italy did. Just, you know, just for Gaza. But, you know, we are in a worse shape here. ICE is in our streets kidnapping people. Why aren't we doing this as a country? Why? Like,
Well,
what's it going to take?
To segue, we'll see about tonight. So broad, and this is a Chicago thing, but it was even on the local news. They expect a lot of protesters tonight. I'm going to try to get over there. I think some of our possible candidates for Illinois state offices are going to be there, so I'm going to photograph and video. But yeah, it's going to be a big one. It's Broadview, Illinois, the ICE detention center, and it's just gotten a lot of publicity. It's gone pretty viral because there were two instances of two different women that they grabbed, physically picked them up, and you just see them in the air and land on the street. And so yeah, there's been a lot of publicity about this ICE protest, so we'll see.
Okay. So we did the TikTok. Now there's the sheer post. So that strike in Italy was 1 million strong. Yeah, this is from Anna.
Oh, is it one of
People's Dispatch, Anna Vračar.
Okay.
Yeah, on September 22nd, approximately 1 million people across Italy staged a general strike in support of Palestine and the global Samud Flotilla, offering a vision of solidarity sharply at odds with the one displayed by European leaders at the United Nations these days. Ports, train stations, and major junctions were shut down as workers, many of whom members of the grassroots unions, I can't say that, Sindacale di Base, I don't know, USB, there we go, brought the country to a halt. So yeah, it was organized by a union.
Yeah. But
the members can't, here in America, they can talk to each other and do it anyway. Wildcat strikes work. In Rome alone, 300,000 demonstrators occupied the city's main railway hub before marching through the streets. The call came from Genoa's dock workers, and here we are. We've blocked everything, the protesters proclaimed. Among those leading the crowd were firefighters union representatives who told Il Manifesto first responders will never be complicit in genocide, and we're protesting a government that is entrapping us in rearmament.
Yeah, so thank you, Italy. Man, amazing.
Showing us how it's done.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it is incredible to see it. You know, we've been, Edie and I have talked about general strike forever and ever, and for Gaza, and you know, getting this country to like even get the concept. Obviously, they get the concept in Italy. It's not something you have to explain. They had 1 million people doing it, right? So yeah,
and pretty sure their country is probably a little smaller than ours.
Oh yeah, a little. Yep,
a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't know the population, but I'm pretty sure.
I always think it's always, you know, these other countries are probably about as big as New York City or something. I could be wrong, but yeah, no, but it's great.
As of 2024, the population of Italy was 9,342,867.
There you go.
9 million?
59 million.
Oh, 59 million. Okay, I was wrong. Okay, so a couple of New York cities. Okay.
Maybe like our Northeast.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
There you go. Throw a few of the cities together.
And they rallied, you know, 1 million people.
Yeah.
And I would say, you know, we have that inside of us because when this first started, I went to both the November protest in 2023 in DC, and I went again in January, and it was even bigger. So we got 300,000 people into DC in a month. And then 2 months later, we got 500,000 people there. So the energy is there. We just need to decide to do it.
And I don't know if I'm segueing, but to the right spot, but 'cause I'm not looking at the program, but it is true that I think the flotilla that's happening this time around is really going to have an effect on publicity around this issue. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it's the first real positive things that we are starting to see. Italy's massive strike, and then our following story. And so, yeah, it's just,
well, I think you have
things
a
might
thing
be turning
about it.
around. There you go. So make no mistake about it. Italy has sent a warship to the global flotilla because one day prior, Italians went on strike and shut down the whole country in protest against the genocide. The country was brought to its knees by people power. Strikes work.
That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. And it's just, you know, and I it's very interesting. So yeah, let's talk about the Italian boat that's the Navy ship that they have put in to protect the flotilla. And I just learned, a flotilla is a group of boats. I thought it was the flotilla, and I was spelling it FLOAT because it floats. Oh my God.
Well, there's always room for learning something that you didn't know before.
I learn something every day.
When you stop learning, you stop thinking. So
there you go.
And Italy and Spain are now sending ships to protect the flotilla.
And
Turkey and Egypt are launching joint naval drills as flotilla enters East Mediterranean, which that happened a few days ago. So what did y'all want to show next? We got to do the Facebook for Italy general strike for Gaza. You got to show that.
Good. Yeah. Okay. Let me try.
Yeah. It was the Facebook. Did I tell you the title? I forget.
I got it. Luckily, I don't have to do too much work. Hazel does almost all the work. But
Thank you, Hazel.
Hazel's not on Facebook, so I got to do this one. Here we go. And where is it? There it is.
Free Palestine!
Is that not the coolest? I mean, oh, wow. And our graphic for today's show, I put in the Italian genocide in Italian was the big sign. So I put that in our graphic for this show.
And it didn't stop them, even though the police tried to fight back with tear gas and stuff. Like, they didn't go anywhere.
Nope. Well,
Yeah.
shutting down transportation. Wow. That's
God, I would love that.
Oh,
Shut down the ports, shut down the trains, shut down everything. We
Yeah,
should do that here.
and I'm going to speak to, I mean, I don't want to say controversial, but it really shows the mindset, how different it is. So firefighters protested. Now, obviously, the backlash against firefighters protesting is going to be big, right? Yeah, what if my house
here.
burns down? Yeah, I mean, just massive but it's an example of how far they are in terms of understanding how important this is and their ability to make things happen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I would say, we've been sold a bill of goods that is bullshit. The me first, got to do it myself, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. The only way things actually happen, because when you're by yourself, you're easier to defeat. The only time things actually happen is when you join with your community and demand change.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, this is useful, but don't get sucked into gaming and your phone and all the social media constantly, because that's how they keep you away from your community. Go out and hang out with people, meet them, talk to them, go to like fires, campfires, go hiking, go do something, that's how we come to like mutual understanding. We have to be able to work with people, and even if we kind of disagree on things, conversations usually fix that, as long as it's done with respect and love underneath it. But that's me.
I take a different take, but that's okay.
To disagree, not actively try to sabotage. There's a difference. People that try to sabotage, I don't have no time for.
Joking.
So, anyway, so what do we got next? Well, there's a YouTube short about Turkey, Egypt launching joint naval drills. You want to do that? And then there's a YouTube about the Samud Flotilla. Don't know if
Yeah. So basically, I was trying to kind of avoid the transitions yet, but yeah, Italy has sent a Navy ship, and it was the day after. So I think that to me is one of the most important updates about the situation. Go ahead, you can play it, Hazel.
Show of force in the Eastern Mediterranean, warships, fighter jets, and submarines on the move. Türkiye and Egypt are holding their first joint naval drills in 13 years. The exercise, dubbed Friendship Sea, runs from September 22nd to 26th and features Turkish frigates, fast attack vessels, a submarine, and F-16s alongside Egyptian naval units. By launching Friendship Sea, Ankara and Cairo are projecting strength and demonstrating cooperation. At the same time, the global Samud Flotilla, the largest ever civilian aid convoy, is sailing in the same waters, heading to Palestine's Gaza. It's carrying hundreds of participants from 44 countries and tons of humanitarian supplies. Previous flotilla attempts to break Israel's illegal siege on Gaza were, in recent months, met with drone strikes, arrests, and detentions by Tel Aviv. In September, 2 vessels from the GSF were set ablaze in suspected Israeli drone attacks while docked in Tunisia. Türkiye was one of 17 countries that signed a joint statement warning against any unlawful or violent act against the flotilla, calling for respect of international law. It said any attacks against the vessels in international waters or illegal detention of the crew will lead to accountability.
And I think the important thing about that is that it is in the same waters as the flotilla. So I think that's they don't specifically state why they're doing these exercises, but I think it becomes pretty clear. And also, as I think we're going to cover later, that there have been multiple now drone attacks on the flotilla. So yeah, I think we've got that in our show. So the attacks by drones continue. So I think it's really important that countries are showing their strength with military. Sorry, Sorry, pacifists out there, but you know, we have to take action, and we know it. The U.S. ain't going to be on their side, but hey, if it's Italy and Greece and Egypt, go.
And Spain, and people are starting to get it.
Go fight us. Oh, right.
Well, you know, at some point there are people that cannot be reasoned with, that they lie to you, and you know, they do whatever they want. They sabotage, you know, good relations. They sabotage deals, you know, and that's on the big stage, international stage, and the national stage, and the small stage.
It reminds me of the back in the times of the where they would arrest folks for being on the side of you know, supporting Russia, you know, that whole era where they, right? I mean, it's like,
yeah,
okay, McCarthyism, right? And they, you know, arrested people and they killed the Rothenbergs. I can't remember.
Rosenberg.
Yeah, Rosenberg. Thank you. My brain. Sorry, folks. But no, it
Scott's a little under the weather today, but he's still here. So wait.
But it reminds me of that. It's like, okay, I guess it's a weird position to be in to say, go fight our government. But you know, the reality is U.S. is on the side of Israel. If Italy, Greece, Egypt attacks, they are attacking the U.S. with Israel, right?
And apparently Greece too.
Yeah, right. And now this was a meme I just saw this morning. I do not have a backup for this. So, you know, a little qualifier here. It was really pretty and I wanted to share it.
So finally, after 2 years of genocide, they're waking up. Go ahead.
I mean, I know it's off topic, except it was the at the beginning, you know, with Kamala Harris's book tour. I'm just going to say something real quick while I think of it. One of the problems I see on the left side of the world is doing that same thing where they twist things, they make it a meme and it goes viral. So I had a friend over there wanted to watch the Kamala interview with Rachel Maddow. And the thing is, Rachel asked her some question about Trump, and Kamala's answer was, well, we've dealt with communist dictators, blah, 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 blah.
Communist.
And now they twisted it to say that Kamala said that Trump is a communist dictator. No, that's not what she said. She said they've worked with people like communist dictators, blah, 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 blah. So
she heavily implied it by answering it that way. That is one of those weaselly things. It said I didn't really answer it, but I went over here, which is saying, yeah. And
I'm gonna disagree. I saw it.
Okay.
I did not think that Kamala said that Trump was a communist dictator. Yeah. She said they dealt with other folks like communist dictators, and then she named some other ones.
Oh, name some other ones. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. So I don't think that was fair. I think they twisted that one. But anyway, I just want to bring it up an example. You got to watch out for the left too. Sometimes they'll twist things because it makes
Rachel Maddow is not left.
I'm sorry. I don't have the verbiage.
In my opinion.
Of course. I'm just saying that there are folks that also distort who are traditionally on our side of the world. They distort too. They do these things that are like,
absolutely. Well, as Joe says, shocker, not much mainstream media coverage of the flotilla. Right. Meanwhile, Bibi is here. New York protest, virtually no media coverage of that either. We're going to get to that, but we had a couple more videos. Let's go ahead and go through them next.
Yeah, thank you, Joe, for that. Yep, absolutely true.
What's the next one? Oh, Caitlin Johnstone. Let's do that one.
Oh, this is great.
6 seconds to 3:31. Caitlin, she's got razor sharp wit, man.
Yeah, she
don't pull no punches. Go ahead.
Every time she just.
Yeah.
The global Sumud Flotilla, which is bringing aid to break the siege on Gaza, is once again under attack. Activists say drones are dropping explosive objects which have reportedly burned the arm of one crew member and destroyed the main mast on one of the boats. As Middle East Eye recently noted, U.S. Ambassador to Turkey and Special Envoy to Syria Tom Barak has admitted that Israel was behind the attacks on flotilla boats in Tunisia, which we discussed earlier this month, stating offhand during an interview that Israel is attacking Tunisia. This happens as the Israeli government repeatedly issues statements branding the boats a Hamas flotilla and claiming the activists are pursuing a violent course of action, something Israel tends to do when preparing to launch attacks on civilians in hospitals or press uniforms. The Israelis will literally launch drone strikes on activist boats for trying to bring formula to starving babies, and then turn around and say the world hates them because of their religion. On Tuesday, Secretary of State Marco Rubio denounced the move by France, the UK, Canada, and Australia to formally recognize the state of Palestine, telling CBS Mornings that, quote, "There is no Palestinian state no matter how many papers they put out, and the only time there'll ever be one is if there is a negotiation with Israel." It's so surreal how Israel can come right out and explicitly say there will never ever be a Palestinian state, and Western officials will just keep babbling on about the possibility of Israel and Palestine negotiating a two-state solution, as though it never happened. Sure is a crazy coincidence how all of Israel's defensive actions in Gaza, Syria, Lebanon, Iran, Yemen, and the West Bank just so happen to look exactly the same as what it would look like if Israel was trying to massively expand its territory and take control of the Middle East.
Yeah.
Kamala Harris's new book reportedly contains an admission that polls found her refusal to expose the genocide in Gaza likely cost her the election. If I was a Democrat and I knew my refusal to oppose an active genocide was what got Donald Trump elected, I personally would shut the fuck up for a while. All the Democrats had to do was run an anti-genocide candidate. Right. That's all they needed to do to keep Trump out.
Never do that.
It's the most reasonable request voters could possibly have made of a candidate for the world's most powerful elected office, and they adamantly refused to do it. In a recent interview with Rachel Maddow, Harris referred to Trump as a communist dictator.
Check on that one.
Democrats and Republicans are always calling each other communists. While in real life, neither of them will even give Americans a normal health care system because that would make the corporations sad. U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee likened Israel to the wife of the United States during a speech at an event called 50 States, One Israel.
This is good. You know, I think you could continue. This is really...
Just keep it going.
Yeah, keep it going.
I'm entertained.
It may sound a little bit this afternoon as if I am speaking on behalf of Israel rather than the U.S., said Huckabee, who went on to explain that if you come to my house for dinner and you came in and you said, "Oh, Mike, we like you. We really think the world of you. We just enjoy being with you. So excited to be here with you and have dinner with you. But your wife, we can't stand her. We don't like her a bit. I hope she's not going to be at the table." I would say, well, she will be. You won't be. Get out. Because if you were to insult my partner, you have insulted me.
I just wanted to add.
Christian Zionists are some of the...
Sorry, I just wanted to add. The part that Huckabee leaves out is, oh, and by the way, my wife is a genocider. But she could be at the table and you won't.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. You don't like my wife? I know she's been of axe murdering people.
I know. At bombing hospitals.
Got a problem with that.
Bombing hospitals. Well, your wife. Woo.
Yeah. Mm.
Okay,
So we're married to Israel? Go ahead.
I know. It's sick. But yeah, go ahead, Hazel. I love all of this. This is all great stuff.
Craziest, weirdest, creepiest, most dangerous fanatics on our planet.
Oh, that was Christian.
A tweet by Secretary of State Marco.
It was
Christian Zionist.
Evangelical Christian Zionist. Thank you, Christian Zionist. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Rubio, the Pilgrimage Road is an enduring cultural and historical bond between the United States and Israel. It's a powerful reminder of the Judeo-Christian values that inspired America's founding fathers. Judeo-Christian just means Zionist. Anyone who uses it these days is generally just referring broadly to white people who love Israel and hate Muslims. It's a term used to distinguish the people we kill in our wars from the people who do the killing. There was nothing wrong with the word Abrahamic. It's a perfectly good term for the major monotheistic religions which trace their roots back to Judaism. The only reason Judeo-Christian gets used instead is because Abrahamic religions include Islam. Judaism and Christianity expanded westward, while Islam has remained most popular among the darker-skinned people of the global south. So they needed to popularize a special term to separate the religions of the white Western imperialists from the religion of the brown people those imperialists like to kill.
Yep.
A New York Times investigation has found that Elon Musk's father, Errol Musk, has been repeatedly accused of molesting small children in his family, including his 4-year-old stepdaughter, whom he later impregnated as an adult. The world is ruled by traumatized, emotionally stunted men who compensate for their inner woundedness by obtaining as much power and control as possible, which they then inevitably use to inflict trauma upon all of society.
Is that it?
I think that's it. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I didn't watch the whole thing. That last one. Whoa.
I'd forgotten that was in there.
Yeah. And it's an interesting take. I think there's more involved in just that, but yeah, no, I think that again, Caitlin is always on top of it. The Judeo-Christian, again, that's something I hadn't really heard the analysis of, and that is exact. It makes so much sense why they come up with the term Judeo-Christian. Yeah,
and why they reject their own people if they say, "Hey, I don't think we should be, killing brown people." They are harder on them than they are on the rest of us.
Yeah.
Like they really, so you love Hitler, like I've heard that said too, like something I watched this week.
Okay.
I'm like, soon as you question, the Israeli homeland.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But, I'm not surprised by Elon Musk's dad being that way. Cause Trump, when's the last time you've seen Trump and Melania together where she looked like she wanted to be there?
Yeah.
I mean, and he judged, what was it? The pageants, the Miss America pageants and stuff like that. Like he sees women as objects.
Yeah. I mean, and it is true. I would agree that, powerful men, powerful straight men, watch out. I mean, Biden molested the sexually attacked the woman.
Assaulted.
I can't remember her name now. She's in Russia hiding.
Tara
Mead. Tara Mead, yeah.
Tara. Something else.
Yeah. And and that's
There's
why
so many you can't keep track.
Yeah. And that's why the Me Too movement just was, crushed, because they wouldn't stand up for all women. They wouldn't stand up for all women. They wouldn't stand up for her because she accused Biden. And of course, of all of them, she had the most valid proof. Her mother went on that talk show and talked about it.
She talked to Larry King, right?
Larry King, right. And they've got the audio. Yeah.
Yeah, Tara Reid, I think it was. Yeah.
Tara Reid, yeah. Sorry.
Yep, she was an intern and he attacked her. He sexually attacked her.
Right.
Yeah.
But because, he was in line to be president.
And as a Democrat, suddenly all the people that supported the Democrats and
The same thing everybody was mad about the Supreme Court justice guy. It's the same crap.
Yeah, right.
But when the Democrats do it, it's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's not. It's still not okay.
Right.
But let's move on. We got 15 minutes. Let's see what we can get through. Or we can stay a little longer if you feel like it.
Yeah,
Scott, I know you're not feeling well today.
No, I'm okay. I'm okay. Thank you.
Did you want to do the Henry Knorr thing about rejecting?
It's a little bit of a side note. I think we could skip it and go to some other ones.
Okay. Well, next thing is drone from Yemen strikes Israel. Plus Italy sends worship to guard Gaza. So we're talking about that again, but still. That's okay. Rachel Levins.
Now to discuss is Laith Marouf, a Palestinian Syrian journalist.
Love him.
Of Free Palestine TV based in Lebanon. Laith, thanks so much for taking the time to join me.
Good to be with you, Rachel.
It's always good to have you on the show. Now, I want to get your take on the latest, and I want to actually start with some breaking news here, as it's being reported that at least 20 people have been injured in southern Israel after they were hit by a drone that was notably launched from Yemen. So we have not seen Ansar Allah out of this fight. They continue to launch attacks. You've got the Israeli Defense Forces saying that the drone struck the town of Eilat on the Red Sea coast, with attempts made to intercept it. Can you take us through kind of the latest on what we know there so far?
So there's a lot of videos out from the colonists that were, I guess, on their summer vacation filming. And so we saw the angles from the sea, from the streets, and this drone passed all the Iron Dome, all the interceptors, and managed to hit its target, leading to the 20 somewhat, now it's some sources are saying 24 injured and 2 killed. They also, the Navy of Israel that had some pieces in the port there, and they removed them out of the port in fear of more drones coming and hitting them like sitting ducks, basically, in the port. So this is a continuation of Yemen's, support front with the Palestinians in Gaza, and Yemen's weapons have now become much more effective, I guess, with the ability of Yemen over the last year and a half to map out all the defensive systems that are there and which weapons to use with them.
Yeah, and that's good to keep in mind, especially as we continue to see the latest here and pay attention to the fact that Ansar Allah is doing this in defense of Palestine, right? They're standing up for the Palestinian people. They've made it clear that, hey, if you want these attacks to stop, you can stop your genocide and we will be peaceful if you choose peace, clearly. Israel has made it clear that they have no plans to do that. And you, of course, have the U.S. supporting Israel in this genocide. You also have the U.S.
Yeah, and so if folks don't realize that Israel assassinated the entire Yemen leadership maybe 2 weeks ago or so. So yeah, they assassinated them all. So and I don't hitting citizens.
Well, and they assassinated somebody in Doha, right? A negotiator in Doha.
In Qatar? No,
in Qatar, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, they did. I know. First time that Qatar, if I'm pronouncing it right, was ever bombed, ever. And it was by Israel.
And that is one of our allies.
Surprise, surprise, surprise. Yeah.
So
and actually,
Israel bombed an ally, assassinated a negotiator for Hamas, a negotiator, somebody that was trying to create peace. So when they tell you, hey, they won't agree, well, you got to stop killing the negotiators.
Right.
I feel like that could be step one.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. And Qatar had given Trump some big ass plane, and Trump had set up this negotiations.
Yeah, and
we always communicate with Israel. We are like this. So Trump knew, he had to have known that our intelligence works with theirs, and so he was setting up Qatar to get bombed. I mean,
yeah, and it's my understanding that plane was not to the United States; it was to Trump personally. And if you want to do a little bit of a rewind, in 2016, when they were all about impeaching Trump, the one thing they wouldn't impeach Trump on was the emoluments clause, which says you cannot profit from your office.
Right.
Why would they not do that? Because they would all be in trouble.
Right. And that's why they're not doing it now. I mean, there's a million.
That's why they're not doing it now.
But yeah, now it seems from the articles I've seen that the making money off the presidency is way more blatant this time around from Trump. The Bitcoin stuff and the whole thing.
It was the only provable thing. It's got receipts, money trail.
Yeah,
Boom.
right. Good point.
It's clearly against the law.
Good
the
point.
emoluments clause exists, and yet they would not impeach him on that.
Right.
It was performative, y'all. You guys got to stop watching the play. You know?
Yeah. Exactly.
No more political theater.
Right. Leave the theater.
Leave the theater in discussion.
To the right. Well, I don't know if that was a good analogy.
Exit
to the left. Sorry, stage left. I get my, theater it's backwards for you theater folks. You know that what we see is backwards from what they talk because they're facing the audience. How's that for getting out of that mistake?
Hey, there are no mistakes. There's just me and you talking. How's that?
Okay.
And our audience. So what did we want to do next?
Oh, and LaRouf, I think is his name. He's fantastic, folks. I mean, try to find him. He's got freepalestine.tv, I think is his website. And yeah, he is absolutely fantastic.
Well, we have another clip from this. Go ahead and do that. And then I want to talk about Alligator Alley.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that that's a very important point, right? And we're seeing this play out as we saw even just the meeting between Al-Jilani and former CIA Director David Petraeus, who, of course, oversaw the covert CIA campaign known as Operation Timber Sycamore that funneled weapons into Syria in an effort to overthrow Assad. You know, Petraeus sits there and he's like, oh yeah, remember when I oversaw your arrest and you were in custody for about 5 years? And it's like, yeah, you look at that and you go, oh, that's interesting how all of a sudden he was then ready to lead Al-Qaeda after that in Syria, and the timing of it all. But it's like, exactly as you were noting there, the US is not hiding it anymore. Everything is kind of out in the open, and they're almost putting it right in front of your face on purpose. Why do you think that is versus kind of the past approach of, oh, it's all about freedom and democracy and national security, whereas now they're just like, they're almost like, yes, this is what we're doing, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, so the outright genocide that is broadcasted 24 hours for the last 24 months has destroyed 80 years of cumulative propaganda from the West that included, of course, Zionism and love for Israel. And so what we see is that the whole empire with its Zionist component have now given up. They know that they cannot win a propaganda war anymore. You cannot make up for 80 years of goodwill suddenly. You have to build, a whole generation has to be either killed or 2 generations have to pass before any of the propaganda of the West can work again. So as Israel has given up on the propaganda war and is outright genociding, is outright declaring that it's committing genocide, we see the United States and the empire as a whole now moving in that direction. It cannot win a propaganda war, so the only other kind of war other than the physical one that they can fight is a psychological one. And the Israelis, as we see, cannot win any of their wars in Gaza, in Lebanon, in Yemen, in Iran, but they can conduct war in ways where there's mass killing incidents that are supposed to break the psychological will of the other. And they're doing it and they're rubbing it in your face and dancing on top of your grave. And they're, touting you, saying, what international law, who's going to come to save you? Look at what I can do and no one can stop. So that's the other only kind of war that is conducted right now, because the propaganda war is lost for the West. And now they're playing psychological warfare in hopes that since they cannot win physical war on the ground, that the people who are resisting will give up just from the sheer.
A stick of butter a day keeps the love handles
From the
away.
sheer stick of butter a day.
Butter is
magnitude of death that we are seeing.
Yeah, and they seem to have underestimated the people that they are picking this war with quite a bit, but I guess they haven't figured that one out yet. Now, another topic that I wanted to bring up here, because I think it's interesting that this week we're seeing this wave of countries saying that they are going to move to recognize a Palestinian state. You've got France, Belgium, the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, and Portugal, and a few others. But then they come in and they insist that, oh, yeah, we want to see a Palestinian state, but Hamas can't be involved in the leadership. Oh, and we've got to throw in some pro-Israel talking points here. So how do you view this move? I mean, on one hand, yes, they are raising awareness about the Palestinian cause, but on the other hand, we still have an ongoing genocide. It doesn't seem as though they're taking any steps to outright stop that genocide. So how do you view this kind of wave of recognition of a possible Palestinian state?
I see it as an attempt of delay tactic. As the pressure builds up within the populace of these states, they're worried about explosions in the streets, of violence. As most people, as we see right now, for instance, also the situation in Italy with 2 days of general strike, all schools or ports or mass transportation has been shut down for Gaza. And this also led for the Italian Navy right now sending a ship to protect, by the way, the Flotilla. That's another thing that we may talk about. So this is clearly an attempt to delay the explosion of confrontation with the elite who are refusing the will of the people in Canada, in the UK, in Italy, in Spain, in whatever it is. All of these countries, a vast majority, poll after poll are showing us, are against the genocide and are for the liberation of Palestine. Even some polls are showing us that the vast majority of under 25s are for Hamas in countries like even the United States. This is how much there is a chasm between the opinions of the elite that control these countries and their own populace. So to divert some of this pressure, they are now doing this symbolic acceptance or admittance of a Palestinian state that doesn't have any of the components of a state. It doesn't have democracy. You're not allowed to elect Hamas. It doesn't have control of its airspace, and it will not have a military. This is what these countries are proposing. So while a genocide is being committed, and they don't say anything about stopping the genocide or disarming a country that is committing the genocide. So suddenly they've just accepted Palestine as a country, and now resistance to it, the occupation, is legal then. If Palestine is a country according to Canada and it's occupied by Israel, then it has the right to resist. So they've what they're doing is not only on the one hand this delay tactic, but on the other, this actually exposing them. They're so desperate to delay the explosion in the streets, in the communities in the West, that they are opening themselves to legal precedents. There's the Foreign Enlistment Act, the Foreign Enlistment Act that is in the UK and Canada, that bars anyone from joining a military that's at war with your own country, a country that is not at war with your country. So Israel is at war with Palestine, but Palestine is not at war with Canada. If you go as a Canadian to Israel to fight a war against Palestine, then you are liable to jail time in Canada. It's a federal crime. This is the same in the UK. So they have not calculated, I think, the extent of what they've just done, even though it's symbolic.
Wow, that's so interesting. I did not even think of it that way. But yeah, you've got these countries that are acting like, oh, we're doing something. And I'm with you. I think that is trying to pacify the public, trying to be like, yeah, sure, we'll recognize Palestine. But yet they're not actually doing anything meaningful for the Palestinian people who are being targeted in this ongoing genocide. Now, when it comes to the actions of ordinary civilians, we are seeing currently another attempt at a flotilla aimed at taking aid to Gaza by sea. You've got the Global Samud Flotilla, which has a fleet made up of over 500 people. They are reporting explosions near their boats, seeing multiple drones around the fleet, and that their radios were being jammed and their communications interfered with overnight. All right, how do you see this fleet? I mean, yes, they are drawing attention to the international crimes that Israel is willing to commit, right? They are raising awareness about the Palestinians, but how do you see them in terms of the overall bigger picture when it comes to, again, this ongoing genocide?
I had said that before, that maybe this flotilla should, instead of heading to Gaza with the clear outcome that we've seen over the last 10 years of these, if not more, of these flotillas, that they should maybe blockade the Strait of Gibraltar to any shipping by the powers of weapons to Israel, or the Strait of Sicily, between Sicily and Tunis, or just land on the British base in Cyprus. The coast is open. They can just do that and take it over. And the Cyprus UK base controls much of the surveillance and target acquisition for the Zionist genocide in Gaza. And it would be actually better to see British soldiers speeding up this flotilla than Israeli ones. But having said that, it seems like there's something different happening right now because there is elected officials from both Italy and Spain on these boats. So we saw yesterday Spain say that if Israel attacks the flotilla, that it will retaliate. We don't know what does that mean, but we also know that maybe there's some of the Spanish Navy moving. We also heard just a few minutes ago, an hour ago, just before getting on this show, that there is right now an Italian destroyer that is moving towards the location of the flotilla to try to give them some defense. And so, I don't know, maybe they will succeed in doing something different this time. Maybe the pressure has built up to a point where the outcome will be better. I hope, of course, for the safety of everybody on these boats. And we'll see if actually some major crime is committed by the Israelis, how the Italian or Spanish Navy will respond. This is going to be, I think, dramatic. We also heard today the president of Colombia talk about an international force to defend the Palestinians. and the president of Indonesia, both of them in their speeches to the United Nations General Assembly. There could be things that we never dreamt about that could happen. But I'm still cautious personally with these states if they will be willing to go to war with Israel, basically.
Yes, stop.
Yeah, I think it's
Stop.
yeah, I had some comments. I mean, that's great that he also was explaining all the different possible military situations going on. My comments were actually about what he had said earlier and about the kind of propaganda stuff falling apart. Now, I don't watch too much mainstream. I did watch that Rachel Maddow interview, but I don't know how they frame, the fact that I remember the days when we used to be against ISIS and Al Qaeda, right? I mean, that, right? Well, I mean, they propped up a leader of ISIS and Al Qaeda to be the leader of Syria, and then they bring him to the UN and they're cheering. It's like, doesn't any commentator in mainstream media go ahead, Didi?
In New York, where 9/11 happened, right after the anniversary of 9/11. Is that just like sticking it in our face or what? Like, we don't care.
Well, and that's the thing. I guess the public doesn't pay attention enough, or that because they all, again, I think it just has to go to what are their sources for information. We go to other places than mainstream, so we find out about this stuff. But
yeah,
I don't
you
know.
really took one for the team watching Rachel and Kamala. I couldn't have made it. Could not. I would have pulled all my hair out.
And the other thing he was gonna, when he talked about the symbolic gestures, sure enough, we got one with the good old Democrats and Bernie Sanders. I call him Democrat because he basically is. With him announcing that yes, it's a genocide, and they're all so happy, yay! 600,000 dead, and then Bernie decides to call it a genocide. And that's their idea of like, wow, is this amazing? Because they, Now I read something. I don't have a confirmation of it, but just bringing it up. I didn't share it because I couldn't get any confirmation. But Asada Shakur did pass, and she was in hiding in Cuba. Supposedly, again, no proof of this, Bernie and Sanders had called for an extradition of her to face charges in the U.S. Mr. Revolution Bernie Sanders. So it's just.
Can you remind us who she is?
She was part of the civil rights activists, the revolutionary group. I can't remember her original name. But yes, she was part of the 1960s revolutionary movement. And of course, she was accused of killing a police officer. I wasn't there, but that's what they do to all of the civil rights revolutionary activists of the 1960s. All of them were charged with killing a police officer. I don't know. I can't speak to that specific situation, but numerous ones. The police come in and start shooting and people shoot back. So I can't speak to that one. I don't know, but I do know that was the pattern they used. And with Fred Hampton in Chicago, I mean, he was sleeping and they just, shot up the whole house with bullets. And I think one person may have shot back. I don't know. And yeah, his girlfriend was laying on top of him with like 8 months pregnant, laying on top of him. And but anyway, I know a little off topic there.
We have a comment here. Listening to Bernie Sanders say genocide reminded me of LBJ saying Negro.
Oh, interesting.
It took him 2 years to figure it out. Now what he got was permission.
Yeah,
this is what you don't understand.
Right.
He's not
And
the
this-
leader. He's a follower.
Right. And again, that's their idea of some kind of progress. I mean, it's
And then Joe had a comment here. The Vulture, a new novel by Guardian journalist Phoebe Greenwood, who covered Gaza from 2010 to 2013, gives its readers clear-eyed view of how the media shapes perceptions of war. And that leads into the Guardian thing that I was going to talk about.
yeah, thank you, Joe, for that. I mean, right, 2010 to 2013, that'd be a really important time to understand what was the buildup to the Maidan coup. Yeah.
In Gaza.
No, that was Ukraine.
That was Ukraine?
Oh, I'm sorry. I got that wrong. I'm sorry, because the years had me thrown off. Oh, Gaza 2010 to 2013.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So the next article we were going to cover is from The Guardian.
Sorry about that.
The whole picture, no worries. And I keep getting an ad. No, I don't want to watch that. U.S. marketing companies are helping rebrand the genocide in Gaza by Ara Madawi.
Oh, good luck with this. Okay.
If a tree falls in a forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound?
Oh, right. They've shut down all the communications. Right.
Yeah, you've heard that one before, but here's a new version of the thought experiment. If a genocide takes place, but you prevent foreign journalists from observing it, kill the key witnesses, and spend hundreds of millions of dollars on propaganda, then will anyone care? Israel's far-right government and its many allies in the U.S. are betting the answer to that question is no. As I write this, Israel is razing Gaza to the ground, Gaza City to the ground, in the latest stage of what many respected international human rights organizations and scholars have called a genocide. There aren't as many images coming out of Gaza City as there should be because the Israeli military is not allowing foreign reporters free access to Gaza and has murdered many of the journalists on the ground. In August, Al Jazeera's team in Gaza City were deliberately targeted by Israel, and we covered that here. But yeah, they're just trying to cover it up. They're just trying to like, shh, don't look over here.
And I haven't been
Pay
on
attention
Twitter.
to Jimmy Kimmel.
I haven't, yeah, exactly. I haven't paid attention to Twitter in a couple of days, but I had heard the reports that they shut down all communication in Gaza City. That's what
And jamming the flotilla with ABBA. That's
I hope
fire.
I hope that ABBA will make a statement saying they do not approve. Although I don't know.
You do not have permission to. I'm going to sue you for copyright.
I mean, I would be into it for quite a while, but then I guess, yeah, no, like, okay.
Well, I used to watch The Walking Dead, and there's this amazing scene where one of the main characters that everybody liked, I can't remember his name now, the opposition, they grabbed Dave and they put him in the cell, and they were playing this like obnoxiously happy music, but it's to break you.
Right. Yeah. Well, and it was jamming. It was used for jamming, but jamming their signals. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, haha. Yeah. So,
but no.
Go ahead. I was going to move.
No,
on to
it's
the
just really, really interesting. I mean, I think he made really good points about how this time it's different, and if countries are bringing military equipment into this, it's a completely different situation now. So, yeah, and I like the speeches at the UN. At least somebody's talking about that invasion. We have to invade Israel militarily and stop them. How did you stop Hitler? Not by calling it something. We call it a genocide. No. Military to stop it. That's what is needed.
Yep. And the next thing I had, don't put it up because Washington Post has massive paywalls. They won't let you read anything. But I was able to kind of look at the article about Hegseth sending in or calling all the military generals from around the world to a meeting next week.
I did hear that, and it is real weird. I mean, again, the only thing I'm wondering is this something having to do with the fact that some countries are standing up militarily? Now, I don't know who was invited and who wasn't. I didn't see the details.
Or is it aimed at us for, pushing back about Gaza, pushing back about ICE? We don't know. So Hegseth orders rare urgent meeting of hundreds of generals, admirals. This is from the Washington Post. I don't recommend you pay them. If you do it for free. The Pentagon has summoned military officials from around the world for a gathering in Virginia. Even top generals and their staff don't know the reason for the meeting.
Are they coming? I mean, what if he calls?
Well, yeah, because Trump fired all kinds of them. The people that have been there for decades, he got rid of them and put people that are his people in there. So, yeah, so much for civilian control of our military. Just saying, getting them to just do your bidding, making it political. That's what they're saying. But then the next thing I had was, so there was a big demonstration in New York to arrest Netanyahu because he came to the UN, and a lot of people walked out. A lot of the UN delegates walked out of the UN in New York.
Yeah, I did hear that.
So I didn't pick a clip because it was a live. So if we just want to show a little bit of that. It's right above the Khaleesi one. If you're looking for it. Yeah, there you go.
The audio is not good enough to hear the interview.
Well, yeah, it was alive. They did have a lady kind of narrating it. If you want to fast forward and try to find her.
Well, I don't know.
So right now,
There we go. Right now, we got to play war.
is because Donald Trump and the U.S. government does allow the genocide to continue. That's right! It's the clearest admission that all of the crimes being committed in Gaza are not simply the work of Netanyahu, but they are the work of the United States government. And if it wasn't Trump, if Biden was in office, it would be the same thing. That's right. So what we're doing today as people living in the United States is saying not only is Netanyahu a war criminal, but all of the officials in the U.S. government, Trump or Biden, are also war criminals, and we say no. That's right.
I think that's the important part.
I want to say a word to the people who have expressed a little bit of frustration or discouragement, who say that the movement that's sweeping the world in solidarity with Palestine has not accomplished enough. And of course, that's true. But if you look back in history to 1985, 40 years ago, Nelson Mandela was in a jail cell. The ANC was labeled to be a terrorist entity. The South African regime, the apartheid regime, enjoying the support of the United States, looked omnipotent. And 6 years later, Nelson Mandela was the president of South Africa. We should never allow the voices that say we are not doing enough to discourage us, to make us passive, to make it seem as we don't make a difference, when in fact, it's always been the people of the world uniting, standing together, mobilizing, refusing to be tired, that have made all the difference.
I don't know how much more we want to go.
That's good.
Yeah, no, I think that was great. Thank you, Hazel, for just randomly finding something that was really good. And yeah, I think, it's now, South Africa was not our wife like Israel is. So we'll see. But I mean, there's no doubt, massive change, right? From jail to presidency. So absolutely. Yeah.
Yep. I wanted Hazel to bring up the Biden thing next.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, this was really interesting. 200 NGOs oppose Biden's historic expansion of ICE detention. Detention should not be about politics. So what is this was April of 2024. So yeah, folks, again, they just want to deny history or just, erase the things that are a little inconvenient. But yes, Biden did expand ICE detention facilities, which they are using now. Isn't that special?
So it's kind of like the you send in the setup team and then you send in the actor.
Absolutely. That's what this is. Thank you.
And then you vote blue again and they set up some more horrible shit because, you think you're safe. So you're not paying attention. And then, that's why the red blue thing does not work.
Edie, that is perfect. The setup team. That's exactly what the Democrats are. Perfect. Yeah. I mean, that's what they do. That's what they do. They set it up, get it ready. Yep.
Yeah. So I think that's good on that. People can read it. I mean, I know I didn't get everything in the show notes today because, you know.
Well, do we want to just put up the
this one?
No, well, okay, yeah. I was thinking of the alligator.
Oh yeah, we could go to that next, but you know, here's some more hypocrisy. These were American citizens killed by Israel. Did you hear anything about it?
No. American citizens. You know, I swear that would have been the number one story everywhere in the past, and if it wasn't the country Israel. Absolutely, killing of American citizens.
Anywhere else in the world.
Anywhere else in the world. That would have been.
Can you imagine if they would have said, like, you know, that happened in Gaza or that happened in any, you know, like
anywhere, any other country,
Iran,
any other country.
Any country. Yeah.
Yep.
So.
And then I was thinking that we were going to add to the stage the one about Alligator Alcatraz.
Yeah.
So about 1,000 immigrants held in Alligator Alcatraz are now missing. So, I mean, it is absolutely frightening what our country and our government is doing. It is horrific.
Yeah. So Biden set up the ICE detention centers and Trump is filling them. And then
now this one was just built super fast. Alligator Alcatraz.
He put
the funding
towards it.
Funding. Yep. Funding. There you go. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. We know what that's like. When you have money to do something, then it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you want to put that up, I put it in the private chat. There we go. Where are the detainees? I'd like to know too. Hundreds of alligator Alcatraz prisoners disappear, which I hear I hear the conditions are just horrible.
Okay.
And so are they in Broadview, by the way. Where they're kidnapping people.
Yeah, I saw a post from Pitchforks Are Coming that I wanted to bring up about the Green Party of Canada. Is it okay if I bring this one up?
Yeah, well, we haven't really talked about this. I mean,
it's just talking about genocide, and in Canada we have one Green leadership candidate we're talking about. Otherwise, all parties and most of the Green Party candidate are pro-war, pro-genocide, or lack of a spine. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was the Green Party of Canada that was trying to say Jill Stein drop out of the election, right?
It was.
Yeah,
it was.
And so, I mean, there's no doubt that we are seeing quite a split from the Green Party of Europe and beyond versus the U.S. I'm not surprised to read that. I think that we do have issues. It seems like the Green Party of Europe has sold out to the, military-industrial complex. We're trying to stay strong here in the U.S. We're trying.
And the Democratic Party or the liberal, co-opting, and bowing down to the parties that already exist. This Green Party, Illinois Green Party, will not help Democrats get elected. I'm sorry, I don't give a crap what you say. That is not our mission. We will never do that. That's not what we do here. We are a party.
Right.
And we help Green Party people get elected.
Yeah, we do not agree with the endorsement of Mamdani. We do not agree with that. Sorry, that's a genocide party. We here, at least the two of us here at the Illinois Green Party, do not endorse Mamdani. And I just wanted to add this one because maybe we could get this person on their show. Yeah,
or Pritzker.
Right. Yep.
Sorry,
absolutely.
He might be doing some good things, not doing enough. ICE is still in our streets.
Right.
If he really cared, he'd make it happen. If he really cared, he would shut down the Broadview Detention Center, not making it happen. When you're in the government, you have a responsibility to protect your people, and they're not doing it.
Right. The police, that's what I had heard, is that the police were not helping the protesters being attacked by ICE. Okay, if that's an assault, and it was by a government agent assaulting an Illinois citizen, and our police was not helping us. And thank you again, Pitchforks, for coming. The one candidate we're talking about is Yves Engler, so we will look them up. Thank you for that. We will look them up.
Yeah, I had my friend Yvonne send that to me this morning too. Just
Okay.
it felt too late to put in the show.
Yeah,
But back to the alligator Alcatraz. I mean, these
Okay.
people, you know, Miami Herald reporter who found that as of late August, about 2/3 of the 1,800 immigrants who were held there in July have gone missing from ICE's online database with their families and attorneys unable to locate them. Earlier this month, the federal appeals court ruled the jail could continue to operate despite reports of abuse. So we have an extrajudicial black site on our soil.
I thought a judge ordered it closed. No, I can't speak to
Could
the
be a different
date
judge. You know, what we're seeing at Alligator Alcatraz is basically a new model of immigration detention where a state-run facility is operating as an extrajudicial black site completely outside of the previous models of immigration detention in this country. And it's making what was already a terrible system somehow even worse, said Thomas Kennedy, policy analyst for Florida Immigrant Coalition. And if that doesn't scare the pants off of you, I don't know what would.
No, it's horrible. I know. I mean, I was pushed. Well, I said this before in the 2024 election. I was pushing back when they were saying Trump is the new Hitler, and I was like, oh, now, okay, were they right about this? I mean, it's just creepy. I mean, it is really, really, really scary, folks. What's happening? It's horrific.
But I mean, you know, some people, we have a thing on here about Antifa. I don't know when we cover it or not, but, you know, some people want to go confront. If that's not you, that's okay. What you can do is go on strike.
Yeah.
You can withdraw. Instead of confront, you can withdraw, because that also works. Look what Italy just did.
Yeah, I think
we decided on pick a day. Let's do it.
I mean, the fun thing about the Antifa's subject this week was that Trump had done some kind of tweet or wherever he posts on his Truth or whatever, labeling them a terrorist organization. And of course, the funny thing about Antifa is that it's a concept. It's not an organization. You know, you don't send your funds, donations to Antifa. It's a concept. You're anti-fascist. It's like anarchists. Like, you're an anarchist. You're Antifa. You're anti-fascist. That's all it means for Trump.
Yeah. And maybe that's not your kind of protest. So before you go protest, make sure you know what it is. We have a comment that we need to reply to. Did not the Green Party of Illinois tacitly or explicitly endorse J.B. Pritzker to be the governor of Illinois?
Absolutely not. The Illinois Green Party, I can't speak to some of the chapters because Edie was referencing a conversation we had with one person in one chapter. So I don't know that, but no, the Illinois Green Party is definitely not endorsed. We will be running our own candidate for governor. We just are getting things together, you know, all the paperwork and all that kind of stuff. No. We are running. No, I don't know where you got that one. Not true. Not true.
Completely not true. And then our buddy Brian, what's up? I'm doing my best. It is an uphill struggle. Ask yourself why the Dems and even Republicans spend millions stopping Greens.
They do.
Also, MSM will not give voice to Greens. Think, people. Hi, Scott Needy. Hi, Brian.
Hey, Brian. Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, this is, you know, we do post whenever we see that Butch Ware is being denied access. And, you know, this is number 2. It is happening all the time that Butch Ware, who's running for governor of California, folks, in the Green Party, if you didn't know,
and received 1 million votes in 2024
as vice president in 2024 election with Jill Stein. Yes. So yeah, they are absolutely, mainstream is trying to block us at every step, and the Democrats are trying to stop us with their dollars, without a doubt.
Yeah.
So remember that, folks.
Yeah.
Your donations to the Democratic Party are helping to stop democracy. Remember that.
Okay. Yeah. I keep telling the American people, you've chosen the lesser evil for at least 8 decades.
Yeah.
And how has that worked out? How about choosing no evil and vote green?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Pitchforks, and coming. And I hope your name is. I love your name. I love your name. Yeah.
Nice.
Right. Exactly. We're all Antifa. We are
Against
all
fascism.
Antifa. Right.
Yeah.
I know. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I guess if you're Antifa, you have to wear black. And I've been trying to change just because I thought that black was getting like overdone. But trust me, for years and years, that's all I wore was black. But I'm trying to change a little because.
So did we want to keep going? It's almost 1:30. We had
I
a
think we're
couple
good.
of more good ones. I really wanted to get to the Brian Kilmeade, the Nick
Well-
Estes, and the Chris Hedges.
Well, go for it. Go for it. I mean, I'm okay. I'm fine. We can keep going.
So
we can
the
keep
Brian
going.
Kilmeade is a TikTok, and this kind of tells you who they are, how much they really don't care about you.
Oh yeah, Hazel, you got this one right. I forgot. Yeah, I couldn't get it.
This from Friday.
Involuntary lethal injection or something. Just kill him.
Well, since then, we've had a person in Vicksburg, Mississippi being hung, a homeless person.
Right.
And then we have this. 2 mass shootings in Minneapolis homeless encampments on the same fucking day.
Yeah.
So Fox News, I ask again, how the fuck does Brian Kilmeade still have a fucking job?
Yeah. Right. No. And it was very true. And I read some of the details of the homeless thing. It wasn't like some argument where somebody pulled out a gun. No, somebody came from outside and shot. And I don't know how far the investigation was going, if they've determined that it would be the same person at the 2. But I think it was hours apart. And again, a person coming in and starting to shoot. So horrific. Just horrific.
Because they feel like they've gotten permission
Right.
to exterminate people that are inconvenient.
Certainly
Even though
from
they
Fox
live
News.
here, they're American citizens, I'm sure. It's a way to keep punching down, and while you're punching down or like punching to the side and watching mainstream, like, oh, it's this party, it's this party, da, 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 da. You're not looking at who's actually pulling the strings.
It's horrific the way the Democrats pull in homeless encampments around the country. And I'm picking on the Democrats in that one. Yes, this is the Fox News Republican world. But, you know, the Democrats with Republican run cities have been doing homeless sweeps as, you know, long as I can remember. They've been doing it.
We
Now
talked
they've
about
upped
that.
it.
Yeah,
They've
we talked
upped
about that last week. Gavin Newsom was filmed doing it.
And
Throwing
I'm
away
pretty
people that are homeless, throwing away their belongings.
Especially California. I mean, I'm pretty sure now the recent homeless, the number one reason is can't afford rent. That's the number one reason for homeless right now. And, you know, we talked to that a little bit on a different show. It's like what comes first, like the desperation that turns you to drugs or the, you know, drugs. I mean, there is no doubt that there is an economic situation for the massive rise in homelessness. Wasn't it 18% in 1 year or something? I think we
that
had
was
a
under
stat.
Biden.
Yeah, right. We had a stat on an earlier show. I mean, just the fact that it's so disgusting how now the media is like turning against the homeless. I mean, what on earth? I can't.
Those super inconvenient people that the system let down, and now they're struggling so bad they can't even afford a roof. Like, let's beat up on them and let's kill them, right? Like,
horrible.
Why would you even think that was okay on any level, anywhere?
Unreal.
Someone mentioned Nick Estes to us, Estes, I don't know if I'm saying it right.
Okay.
A couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
He's got I think it's a Substack called Red Scare. And he did a thing on ritual human sacrifice, how the West normalizes the crimes of Zionism.
Okay. And while you're bringing that up, I want to just do it quick while I think of it. You know, we were talking about Tara Reid. She actually had a really good YouTube show. I don't know if it's still happening. It hasn't been coming up in my algorithm, but she had a great show going. Yeah. Are you?
Yeah, I've got it.
Okay.
So I can start reading. There is no end in sight for the massacre in Gaza. We're hoping the flotilla does something, but nearly 2 years after the start of the Al-Aqsa flood, the United Nations Human Rights Council has finally declared Israel's war a genocide. 72 pages with hundreds of footnotes and a litany of atrocity stories catalog the devastating human destruction. The details are gruesome. Extermination, torture, sexual violence, and starvation are not outliers, but the systematic instruments of genocide. And I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. So he comes to a little bit of a conclusion a few paragraphs down. That is why I've come to see Gaza as more than a war and even more than a genocide. What is unfolding is ritualized violence, collective, ceremonial, enacted like a grim sacrament. Ritual human sacrifice may sound archaic or sensational, but if we understand ritual as patterned, public, and meaningful violence performed to communicate power, to terrify, to extinguish life, then the term clarifies what otherwise seems senseless.
Yeah. Yeah, no, thanks for that suggestion of Estes. That's great. Yeah, I never heard of them before. And I just threw that up briefly, Hazel, for people to see it, but yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah. They're flexing their power to keep us all in line. That's what's happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did want to play the Israeli scholar debunks Zionist narrative. It's
Okay.
short.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, they're trying everything they can. Now, TikTok has been sold to, I think, Oracle guy who's a nightmare. And so, yeah, I mean, they are trying to shut us down. They shut down RBN from YouTube. Yeah, all this. I mean, the attacks are always coming, constant.
Mm-hmm. Yep, agree with you, Brian. Okay, let's go.
Jew come from Ukraine to Palestine and say this country is mine, and you Palestinians have no place here. You can't. I mean, if you didn't have a story to tell, you'd just be a criminal. You'd be some guy coming in and stealing somebody else's land. Well, I don't want to be that. So to justify what you're doing and explain what you're doing, you develop a whole narrative. God gave us this land, and this is the ancient Israel, and we were driven out by the Romans, and now we're, a whole story like that. I mean, how can a Jew come from Ukraine to Palestine and say this country is
right? It's all about that narrative. I mean, that narrative. Woo! It's just, again, it's just, and it's gross that it's based, that they use religion to. I mean, I am definitely not a fan of religion. And here's a great example, folks, a great example how religion can just be used for the most horrific things, this time of genocide. And going in and stealing people's land and kicking them out of their homes and chopping down their olive trees.
Yeah, historically, religion has been manipulated for power.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm not against people believing however they want to believe. You
That
just
is-
got to be on the lookout for the leaders of the religions using your faith to do horrible things. That's what you got to be on the lookout for. Yeah. And that was an Israeli historian.
Okay.
So you can't say he don't know what he's talking about. Yeah. So we already covered that. So there's emergency protests happening. One happened yesterday. Tomorrow on 9/27, there's the Ice Out of Chicago protest.
Yes. Oh, right. Tomorrow at Daily Plaza. I didn't bring in any pictures of the graphics. I'm sorry.
Well, I think it's going to be on our website soon, but we can, just look it up. It's Ice Out of Chicago protest. One.
Yeah, that's downtown
tomorrow
Daily
at 1.
Plaza. Daily Plaza, I think 1 o'clock. And like we spoke of earlier, there's the Broadview one. So I think I'm going to be there. And reach out to me, Joe, if you are going to go. Yeah, I think I'm going to that one tonight. And like I said, that one's going to be a big one. I'm going to stand real far back because they've already been shooting rubber bullets. Or no. They were throwing paint bombs with the gas in them, right?
I don't know.
Just know that,
I've seen smoke.
Tear gas.
Cops.
I couldn't think of what it was called.
Not the protesters.
Right.
And
Tear
there was
gas.
somebody interviewed that got shot in the leg with a rubber bullet. That he
Okay.
got this horrible hematoma on his leg because those
Yeah.
things. They
God.
may not penetrate the skin, but they sure as shit do hurt. And
and
we are going up against the power structure.
Yeah.
So, it gets a little confrontational just by showing up peacefully.
Right.
Because, they don't like that. They don't like us using our voice. Did you want to play the Chris Hedges and then we'll go? Maybe? Talking about Antifa? Or is there anything else we wanted to cover?
I'm good, but
It's not very long. It's like 3 minutes.
Okay, Hazel, do
It's
you have
22
that?
seconds to 158, and then it's 6:08 to 8:19. I'm sorry, I should have grabbed it. You want me to grab it, Hazel? Oh, there you go.
.com. Read by Eunice Wong. Trump's designation of the amorphous group Antifa, which has no formal organization or structure, as a terrorist organization, permits the state to charge us all as terrorists. The point is not to go after members of Antifa, short for anti-fascist. It is to go after the last vestiges of dissent. When Barack Obama oversaw the coordinated national campaign to shut down the Occupy encampments, Antifa, so named because they dress in black, obscure their faces, move as a unified mass, and seek physical confrontations with police, was the excuse. I am pleased to inform our many USA patriots that I am designating Antifa, a sick, dangerous, radical left disaster, as a major terrorist organization, the president wrote in a Truth Social post. I will also be strongly recommending that those funding Antifa be thoroughly investigated in accordance with the highest legal standards and practices. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
This new scam is spreading.
Yeah,
that
was the
emptying bank
I'm
accounts.
sure I'll be commenting on that. That was classic.
I have no love for Antifa. The feeling is mutual.
Ew,
I was a
I
fierce
do.
opponent of the Black Bloc anarchists who identified with Antifa.
Yeah.
They embedded themselves in Occupy encampments and refused to take part in the collective decision-making. They carried out property destruction and initiated clashes with the police. Occupy activists were Antifa's human shields. I wrote that Antifa was a gift from heaven to the security and surveillance state.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, I disagree with that part. I don't know. That's tricky. At what point do you allow them to attack you? I mean, the thing is, they did dismantle Occupy movement. I mean, Obama dismantled it. So at what point do you stand up for that dismantling?
Right.
Yeah, that part I didn't care too much for. Chris, what are you doing?
He's got his own opinion. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that it's, it's at some point you have to recognize this state is oppressing us.
I think his angle is like what Trump's doing. They use like tiny incidents to like blanket, call everybody a terrorist. Like anybody ever been to a protest a terrorist. Now you're all in, because the name of this article is "We're all Antifa now."
Okay, but then that was super anti-Antifa, so I don't know, that was weird. But anyway, yeah, I just think that you have to recognize that at some point you have to stand up. Now, I also agree that there are infiltrators, right? Everywhere. So it's quite positive, especially I didn't remember Antifa putting on masks. That seems new to me. I don't remember that. But without a doubt, people do instigate things. Like I talked about the pile of bricks as I left Black Lives Matter protest. So
when you have a group of people that you can't even recognize them, even though you're there, could be somebody there to cause trouble that isn't even part of it.
And again, I think that we got a lot of issues. I do agree with wearing face masks to not be surveilled by the police. I get that, and I support that. So I'm not against mask wearing either. So
go ahead, Hazel.
But while I oppose Antifa, I don't blame them for the state's response. If it wasn't Antifa, it would be some other group. Our rapidly consolidating police state will use any mechanism to silence us. It actually welcomes violence. Confrontational tactics and destruction of property justify draconian forms of control and frighten the wider population, driving them away from any resistance movement. It needs Antifa or a group like it. Once a resistance movement is successfully smeared as a flag-burning, rock-throwing, angry mob, which those in the Trump administration are working hard to do, we're finished. If we become isolated, we can be crushed. Non-violent movements, on some level, embrace police brutality, I wrote. The continuing attempt by the state to crush peaceful protesters who call for simple acts of justice delegitimizes the power elite. It prompts a passive population to respond. It brings some within the structures of power to our side and creates internal divisions that will lead to paralysis within the network of authority. Martin Luther King kept holding marches in Birmingham because he knew Public Safety Commissioner Bull Connor was a thug who would overreact. The explosive rise of the Occupy Wall Street movement came when a few women, trapped behind orange mesh netting, were pepper sprayed by NYPD Deputy Inspector Anthony Bologna. I went on. The violence and cruelty of the state were exposed, and the Occupy movement, through its steadfast refusal to respond to police provocation, resonated across the country. Losing this moral authority, this ability to show through nonviolent protest the corruption and decadence of the corporate state, would be crippling to the movement. It would reduce us to the moral degradation of our oppressors. And that is what our oppressors want.
Yeah, I got issues with Chris. I really do. I mean, he says he's against Antifa, and he also said Antifa's not a group. I mean, it's a concept. We're all Antifa, but he's against us all. It doesn't hold up. It doesn't hold up. And I also have an issue.
I don't think that's his point at all. He's kind of playing that thing where this is how they see us. This is a, if they're smeared, because he did say that. If one group is smeared, then it encompasses all of everyone. That's the point of it. And then he was referring to the nonviolent protests where you do show your face and you incur, the state gets in trouble for attacking you because you didn't do anything. That it's two different tactics. Show up, confront them, things happen or not, or show up in a completely nonviolent way, and then the state looks like the asshole.
And he also just kind of brings up the nice part of Occupy and maybe the part that was why they didn't succeed. Because Occupy was always all about, I went to some in Chicago, no leaders. So somebody would yell something and then the next person would yell it down to the next and then the next one because they didn't want to have any leaders. Okay, well, if you don't have any leaders, how do you organize anything? That's why it didn't go anywhere. It's, I mean, that concept that was of its generation, and it doesn't work. You got to organize. You got to organize.
Yeah, decentralization to the. Yeah, I was going to say decentralization to the point of complete inefficiency doesn't really work. At some point, somebody has to have an idea, and people get behind it. I mean, they didn't have any demands. They didn't have any goals that I knew of. I watched the whole thing. I was encouraged. I love seeing people in the street, but, we can't decentralize ourselves to the point of paralysis.
And I also think he's kind of glorifying nonviolence to the point of, I mean, again, you got to talk about all sides of it. And I think it's just too easy to say I'm against Antifa. And I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I just I just think the funny, but I think the funny thing about Antifa in the news was him labeling them a terrorist organization. That's and to go after their funders. That is hilarious. I would love to see that investigation. Oh, this guy, he actually asked for $1 and the guy gave him $1. I mean, it's just
our friend pitchforks are coming. I wonder which group individual will be named the first one.
Right, exactly. I mean, I get it. And
so I'm seeing it as pointing out that it can be used to smear everything. They can use them as an example, label them a terrorist, and then it crushes all of our fight back because
of course
that's the point of that article.
Yeah, Fox News blamed Antifa for Black Lives Matter protests and even January 6th for a while because there was one person who went in. I don't know if you remember that. One person who went in who was kind of out there who had some relationship to doing some Antifa stuff. And yet, so no. They use it to try to, it's a blanket for the, sorry for using the term left, our side. It's a blanket term, and they use it all the time.
It's a blanket term to destroy dissent.
Yeah.
So, are you good? Did you want to talk about anything else?
No, I'm
we've
good.
gone really long.
Yeah, we went real long today. And thanks for the contributions. We didn't share all of them. I'm sorry. But thanks, everyone, for...
Ryan, pitchforks are coming.
Yeah, and
Joe was here.
Richard Pink, we didn't share yours. Sorry. But yeah, thanks,
I shared
everybody.
one.
Oh, you did? Okay, great.
Yeah,
great.
that was the question.
Okay.
We do not support Pritzker. We are running our own candidate for
Oh,
government,
okay. Okay.
Forget about it. Like
It'd be
anybody that's in
interesting.
the Green Party that does, they
It would
need
be
to.
well, it would be interesting if you want to put in the chat where you saw that or heard it or something. Because no. I mean, we're actually Edie and I are we basically kind of run all of the social media, so we certainly know what Illinois Green Party has been putting out. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I believe Wednesday our guest is from the Illinois Stewardship Alliance.
Okay.
So we're going to be talking about farming practices and food in Illinois, which I think is important. It can be extrapolated to across the country, but I'm so pleased to bring our guest to talk about that. I think it's going to be Lisa Ruppel, but I think that's who signed up, but she wasn't sure if she was going to bring somebody else too. So
okay.
All right, you guys.
Thanks everybody for hanging out. Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us. Yeah, as we try to fly through these, we get I mean, there's just information overload that comes in, and we just try to pick, okay, what are we going to cover? Because I mean, it's so hard to keep up with everything. But
trying to figure out what to focus on is difficult.
But I think we've got positive developments in the situation in Gaza City. We'll see.
Yeah, protecting the flotilla. That's step one. So it's doing its job.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Peace and vote green.
Thanks, everyone. Bye now.
Bye.
An uprising, we're rising up. It's an uprising, we're rising up.